Hello. Welcome to another episode of Schozophronio. This is episode 10. Double digits now. There's probably more than double digits now. Like, we've already passed double digits, but this is like officially the 10th episode. Yeah, pretty crazy. I know it's taken a while. Unfortunately, I've had some work stuff, like work. I don't know. I feel like I don't work much, but when I do, it's a lot. If that makes any sense. Probably doesn't make sense at all. But yeah, it's nice to be finally recording again. I've tried a couple times in the meantime, but there's something been off. I don't know. It's weird. Life happens and I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, I feel like I was like in like not only like a creative rut, but like just like a weird, I just felt weird. Something was off. So, it's good to be back. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. So sorry for all the fan out there. Those when I say fan, I always think about like a fan that you plug in, not necessarily like when's the next Schozophronio episode gonna come out. Uh, it was actually cool. Yesterday I tried to record, but it just wasn't happening. Like I would try and it wouldn't work out, and then I would just be like, all right, I can't record. So I reverted to streaming, and that's something that I want to do with this with Schozophronio. I want to have like a Schozophronio like Twitch account. Like it's already made and everything, but I don't like follow anybody with it, and it's not like I haven't streamed anything on it. But that's something that I want to do because especially this last one that I did, I streamed instead of recording yesterday, and it ended up like streaming all of this one game, just 7 straight hours, which was, it was kind of draining and, but also it was super fun because it was this different type of game. It was like one of those Japanese games where it's like it was ported to US or whatever, but it was like one of those novels where there's like characters and they each have dialogue and stuff, so I like changed my voice around for like 4 different females in it. I wish I would have recorded it and like put it up or something, but it was cool. There was this dude in the chat that like came in and was like, I don't know, it was like I was just hanging out with this random guy and he was watching me play, and like it was cool. Something that wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have done it, so I'm glad I did it. But it was called Doki Doki Literature Club, and if you want to know more about the game, you should like look it up on YouTube and like watch it if you're into that stuff. If you're into like watching people play video games, which I am, so that's why I'm sharing it. But it was such a trip. Like I hadn't played any of those games before. One, and also it was like way different than what I expected or what like I assume those games are like, because you play the game, and as you play the game and like get further in the game and stuff happens, there's stuff that happens to like the actual files of the game itself, and it like is this creepy stuff that happens. It's super cool. Like it comes off as like this, like you join a literature club and it's like 4 girls and like a girl makes cupcakes and you're like, oh cool, ha ha ha, and then like oh oh my gosh, because they say there's like warnings before you start it. It's like if you're sensitive to depression or anxiety, like you should stop playing the game. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, okay, whatever. Like, are you serious? But it's actually like pretty heavy. Anyway, side note, all that stuff. Good to be back. Episode 10 recently. Went to Legoland. That was actually Martin Luther King Day. So like, I think it was a week ago today. But of the time of this episode, whenever that is, whenever you stumble upon it. The Legoland is like, I mean, it is nothing like Disneyland because, I mean, it's Legoland, but like the scale of Disneyland is so large where it's like, okay, there's so much and so much history, but Legoland has its own history, but they like kind of work with what they have, and it's kind of cool. Uh, went down there. Sharon and I went and used the Cyber Monday tickets I had got. So those tickets were half off each, right? And so we get to Legoland and we get like checked in and everything, and the the lady who like scanned our tickets was like, if you continue forward, you see that little tent kiosk thing that says a gift for you, and actually, hand your um, if you hand your tickets to the people working there, you will get uh, admission tickets for like a second visit. I'm like, well, okay, well, that seems like I just got here. I haven't been here, and I just got here, and you're already inviting me back. It was kind of interesting, but so we go over there and we're talking to the guy, and he just like has me sign a couple tickets and like, yeah, this is just so you don't like resell them or anything, but yeah, they're good until like March 3rd or something. I was like, okay, sweet, like 2 visits for the price of half of 1 visit. uh, so as we're like doing that stuff and like getting settled in, we notice like as after that happens, we see like the line times of like all the rides and stuff. And so we go over there, and I immediately, because the whole premise of even thinking about going to Legoland is to visit Coastersaurus, right? Because the dinosaur um, thing that I have going on. I don't know. And I think it'll be the finale of like the dino of the day, because I don't know. It's just too ridiculous, and it's just ridiculous. So we go over and check the wait times, and as I immediately want to see how long Coastersaurus's line is. I don't even know where it is in the park. And so I'm like, okay, well, I know it's an Explorer Island based on the research that I did for the podcast. So I like scan my eyes to where it is on the board and look at the wait time, and the panel next to it says seasonal closure. Seasonal closure. The ride is closed for seasonal purposes. So I'm like, come on. Why? And so like Sharon's like, well, just ask the guy like working under the umbrella or whatever, like when it's gonna open. And I'm thinking in my head like, okay, well, it's a seasonal closure, so I assume next season. So I go over to the guy and I'm like, hey, so where's the nearest restroom? I don't ask about the ride at all. And he's like, oh, like over there. So whatever. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to the restroom real quick. And Sharon asks like, hey, so Coastersaurus, it says seasonal closure. Like, when is it going to open? Like, and the guy's like, well, it'll open the 19th. That's what I was told to tell everybody. And he like gave us the whole spiel of like, well, seasonal closure, each ride needs to blah, 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 go through whatever it's called, like maintenance stuff. And they like just cycle through the rides over a calendar year, whatever. But the day I'm there, Coastersaurus is closed. So I'm like, okay, the 19th, I was like, what, 4 days from when we went? But luckily, we have tickets to go back. So that'll be something that'll happen in the near future, at least before like early March. So sometime between now and the start of March, Coastersaurus is going to happen, which it's such a, like, I'm probably the only person in existence that is like, when can I go on Coastersaurus? Because as you know from the episode that I covered Coastersaurus, it's so short the ride is so short they take you around twice. so so something to look forward to, I guess, right? And yeah, I mean, Legoland it was cool to see, like, be in a amusement park for the first time, because it's rare that you get that experience. I have a Disneyland pass, so Disneyland, there's nothing like brand new in Disneyland that I haven't heard of or, been on or experienced. So it's cool to go to it's cool to go to a place like that and experience things for the first time. But yeah, all the rides were like, I mean, the amusement park, for the most part, Legoland is catered to children. Like, if I had any kids, or like was visiting there with like a group of people that there were children involved, super cool. Like, you wait in line and like the kids can like mingle and build their immune systems together while building Legos, as the parents wait in line, and then the kids are like, they don't have to like, when's the ride, like how much longer in this line. They can like distract themselves with Legos. So they got a good thing going on there. But yeah, and the surrounding area, like Carlsbad, I don't think there's ever bad weather there. Like, it's super nice. Like, we went to breakfast at there's like hotels nearby, and there's a golf course. I'm just like, well, let's go to the clubhouse and like eat and whatever. So it was like, I'd totally golf there. I think it's the Crossings in Carlsbad. And it's like $65 to play there, which is, for Southern California, pretty good price, especially for like this time of year. Anyway, so we're like going through the park and stuff, and I think the part I liked most about the park was they have like little like scaled down cities made of Legos. So they have Las Vegas, they have what's it called, like New York, New Orleans, and then San Francisco. And there's like scattered little like landmarks in between and stuff, but got to drive like little boats and stuff. It's a pretty cool area. I think that was my favorite part of the whole park. And we did it like close to the end too, which was funny. Like, going through the park, going on little rides and stuff, and then, oh, this is here the whole time? This is the coolest part. But we'll have like, I'm sure we'll have like little clips and like photos and stuff of our visit. Look at this pizza crown.
I'm trying to reach you.
Oh my god! Who are you? Oh my god!
Oh, you're not a real guy?
But it's cool to have something to look forward to go back next time, like when Coastersaurus is actually open, and that'll be a thing. Maybe I'll do like a review of the ride, which is something that probably no one else has done either. But yeah, in terms of like looking forward to things, I feel like as I think about it, sorry, I had like a burp that's like, it's got to come out. There it is. All right. Moving on. Yeah, something to look forward to. I feel like that's something that I've always uh, had in mind in terms of like just going through like an average day or week. Uh, and it started when I forget what I was doing or what I was going through, but I remember talking to Eric about it, and because he always seemed like, I mean, he was working more than I was at this time that I had this discussion with him, and I was like, dude, what, like, work sucks, and he's like, yeah, I know, but I was like, dude, how, like, what is it that gets you through like a work week or like a work day or like anything that keeps you going, that keeps you positive and stuff? And I remember telling me that he always had something that he was looking forward to, whether it's like something big, like coming up, it's like the Super Bowl, like, okay, get through this week because, you know, the Super Bowl is coming up and it's like an event and it's something to look forward to and exciting, and there's all this build up towards it. Something like that, or just like having like a new video game that you got that is coming out or whatever that you're looking forward to playing at the end of the day after your shitty work day or whatever, or like hanging out with people or like something, you know, stuff like that. I feel like you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm getting to, but that's something that I've always, and I probably could have figured out eventually, but it was just the conversation that I had with Eric. It sticks in my head, like always having something to look forward to get you through what you're going through now. And that's, I mean, recently the podcast has kind of like, I don't know, I feel like I've just, like I mentioned in the beginning, like I feel like I've just been like stuck, or like confidence isn't there, so I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it, but like I want to do it, and it's like this wrestling match I have with myself where it's like, I should do this, I know it's been a while since, and there's really no pressure since I've recorded or anything, but it's one of those things where it's like I'm like committed to it, but also it's like this kind of work thing that I need to get through to put stuff out, and I wish I was better at it. Like that whole conversation I have with myself where I just beat myself up about it, and like I want to do so much more with it, but I feel like I'm incapable for whatever reason, and like I have all these things that I want to do that, like, with whether it's YouTube or just like little recording things, or like all the way down to like my thing this year of like drawing and stuff, and I want to do some of that stuff for the podcast, and it's just like it's all like this build up stuff, and it's like nice to think about like all this stuff, but I just said stuff like 80 times. But I like sit down to do it, and for whatever reason it's just like a block that I'm just like, I don't know. But yeah, I think something that I like about this podcast is it's like something that I can vent to, but also kind of talk into and be held accountable for things. So it's like, I mean, I feel like Schozophronio cares about me. And it's like, it'll always be there in one way or another. But it's like, sometimes I feel like the podcast understands when I'm feeling like, I don't know, man, I'm trying. And they're like, the podcast is like, oh, it's cool. I'm like personifying my podcast, which is weird. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Just, yeah, I mean, there's stuff that like comes up during a work week where I my schedule is a certain way where, okay, I have this much time to do this, but the time comes and I'm just like straight up too tired. Or I'll do the Scots life thing and set an alarm for the AM and not PM, and then I wake up in like this hurried thing, and I'm like, oh shoot, it's still today and I work tomorrow. But also, I'm wearing this shirt right now. I know this is like only for the visual of this, but back when this is another tangent, and video games are coming up again, but whatever, you know me, cool. This shirt that I got, it's actually like, it's not, I don't know, it's this, I'm showing the video, but it looks super random, I know, and it's like this two-headed horse with like this tree behind it, and it's from so the shirt itself I got off of the site, the Yeti.com, and they typically have like random like designers that they'll send in designs that are like video game centric, and there's 2 designs per day that are like limited releases, but this one in particular is a design that came from the Zeldathon that was like on Twitch and stuff, and it was just like raising money for like a charity, and it has this 2-headed horse on it, and it has like owl faces as the heads, and this horse in the game is called the Lord of the Mountain. I know this is totally getting nerdy, but whatever. And I got this shirt because there was a time when I was streaming Breath of the Wild, and it was a time when I was just streaming it, and my brother Matt was just watching it in traffic. I mentioned it in a previous episode, but it was epic because you can't, like, the horse disappears because it's this like glowing like thing in the mountaintops, and you're like, okay, what is that? And you get up there and it's like these little owl things that are like hopping around, and then this horse with 2 owl faces. And I know it sounds like I'm high right now, but I'm not. It's all in a video game, which makes it make more sense. So as my brother's watching me, like, and I say we because I feel like when I play games while people are watching, it's like this group thing that's going on. So we had to sneak up on the horse, and before he like notices me and then runs off and disappears, because he's the Lord of the Mountain who's glowing in the mountainside. You have to like sneak up on this horse, and then once you're on it, it doesn't get tired. Like, you could just keep pressing and it just sprints forever. And I took this horse across the whole map, and it was like this mission that I had to light all these blue flames on the other side of the map. I have the video actually on my Twitch account, not Schozophronio. It's Luchad Libre. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know how that spells. Maybe I'll like link it in the description of the YouTube thing, or like in the description of this podcast. But I have a video up there of me riding it like across the map, and I'm getting like attacked, and I'm trying to like avoid all these beams of the Guardians. Sounds so random, I know. If you have no idea what Zelda Breath of the Wild is about, this all sounds outlandish. But the ending of the video was pretty epic, and yeah, so it was just a good time. So that's why I have this shirt, and I had to mention it because I'm wearing it for the first time today, and that's that. Not much else going on in my life. But yeah, I don't think, like I said about the Legoland thing, I think Coastersaurus is gonna be like the I think that's going to be like the finale of the dinosaur of the day. Like that'll be the end all be all. I know I only got to like F, but all I wanted to do was bring awareness of dinosaurs because I think there's a lack of that in society. And just the more you look into it, the more ridiculous all that stuff is. And I mean, basically, if you dig something up that looks like bones and the bones are unidentifiable, you can just name them after yourself and put like an animal type name at the end, like, or depending on where you found it, like if you found it in Alberta, Canada, you can just call it Albertosaurus. That works. But yeah, there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of like stuff that I want to do with YouTube and stuff where it's if you know any, I'm actually wondering about this, if you know any video editing software that is like easy to use, because I am a dummy and computers, like I'm surprised I can even get this much up. Even streaming is like, I feel like I'm like tapping into some, I don't even know how I got it set up. Like, I guess anybody can learn anything if they like Google it, but it's still, I impress myself is what I'm trying to say. But I want to put out like little videos of just like thoughts I have during the week, instead of, so it's a little more consistent content with Schozophronio, instead of waiting for a podcast and a video to edit and stuff, because it's been 2 weeks, and in the meantime I'm like putting a little bit of stuff on the Instagram, which I want to get better at too. But it's just, I don't know, this past week was like a weird week for me, and it may not seem like that, but it just was. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much an update. Another update, I got a whiteboard and a cork board in my room now. So I'm stoked about that. That'll kind of keep me a little more like, it'll give me like a daily reminder of stuff and stuff I want to work on, and I have my work schedule up on there. So I don't know. I'm just trying to get more organized and stuff. And I want to and stuff counter on this episode. I've said and stuff like probably 27 times now. But yeah, I want to have more consistent content on YouTube. So a video editing software would be good. I want to get the streaming up, because that's something that if I'm not working and I'm not doing something like recording or doing stuff for like podcast things, which is pretty much all my life right now, besides watching a Kings game here and there. It'll be playing video games. So if I can stream that and like involve other people and like have that available just to like, yeah, I'm streaming, stop by the Twitch account and just watch what I'm playing, so you can kind of like get involved there. I think that'll be a good thing, because basically this is all just like my interest bundled into whatever this is. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I know there's not much this week that I feel like, I mean, it's already been like 30 minutes and I don't even know what I've said. I talked about like what I want to do, what I have done, and it's been a while. And again, I'm sorry about that. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I'll keep this episode, pretty short and sweet. So things to look forward to, going to Legoland again. Look for Schozophronio on Twitch, and I'll kind of do my stuff during the week this week to kind of build momentum behind that and get that up and going. And I'm still trying to figure out when, like, and it's setting up this whole thing, this whole like computer stuff that I'm like getting by. I feel like I'm getting by. Like there's a lot of stuff that even I'll talk to Sharon about, like, okay, when this happens on the computer, like how do I get that to work with this? And like I'm glad I got to put subtitles on that thing on the episode. Episode 8, I think it was 7, whenever that was. And I feel like I'm constantly learning computer things. So as I learn computer things, it's only going to get better from here. I promise you that. Okay. But I'm going to learn how to get like notifications on the Twitch things, and hopefully like that picks up, and just kind of playing like games that involve me just reading dialogue for the most part, like story driven games, rather than like I'm not playing first person shooters, and I'm not playing like those types of things. I like games that are like story driven, character driven, like it's like this emotional thing going on. Like I'm past the point of like just turning on like a Call of Duty and like, oh yeah, no, a triple headshot, whatever. I'm not into those anymore. So yeah, that's what's on the horizon for this week, and that's pretty much all I got. So I'm just gonna keep this episode short and sweet, and yeah, subscribe on iTunes, the YouTube channel. It just looks so good. Like I just like looking at it. Like I just go on the Schozophronio channel and I just like look at everything, and I listen to myself, and it's weird, and I don't know. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. And yeah, be on the lookout for some new stuff. I'm like drawing a blank now, and I'm like, it's really hot in here for some reason. I think because I closed the window, and because all the noises outside are I don't like other noises. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time on Schozophronio.